as well. The next part in talking about personal feng shui is really talking about personal Kwa application for the facing direction when you're seated down. As I've shared in another video, from the perspective of 8 mansions when looking for a house, you are also looking at the east group and west group, so the directions doesn't change. What you try to do is face one of your good direction. So what does it mean when I say try and face one of your good direction? Facing a good direction for a prolonged period of time, especially when we're looking at more than 3 hours a day when working at your desk, is really about your facing direction when you're facing your laptop or facing the screen of your computer. Tilt it such that it is facing one of your good directions based on the Kwa number. So if you do not know your Kwa number, please visit bazicalculator.janetyong.com and get your favorable directions there. So the other thing that we would like to look at is when we are seated, besides facing one of your good directions, you also need to take into account that when you're facing your good direction, it should not be facing any of those physical structures. If it does, you need to either cover your view of the physical structure so that it's broken and slowed down, or you have to tilt to an alternative good direction. The other thing you need to be aware of is each year there is a Grand Duke direction. And when you spend time sitting facing that Tai Shui or Grand Duke direction throughout the year, you will usually face a huge force that can throw you off balance, therefore creating mistakes. Just be aware of what are these particular directions. You should try not to sit facing a wall which represents a physical structure. If not, then create a pleasing scenery in front of you by either having a picture of a garden or something that you like to see. Please do not sit with the door directly behind you, especially if you are in an office where it is the main entrance door. Why this is the case? Because you'll create a sense of insecurity because you do not know who's coming from behind the door, especially when it's a main door. What I found when I've done feng shui, people who are seated with their backs towards a door, or officers whom the bosses ask why there's this staff turnover every single time, is usually occurring at a seat where the staff is actually seated with the back towards a door. Now what about at home? Now at home, generally if it's a bedroom door, unless your bedroom door faces the main door or the bedroom door faces the toilet, it's not too big of an issue. Now then the next thing you should be aware of is please do not sit under a beam or a lower ceiling for a prolonged period of time, because as human beings we have energies, so our energies emit upwards. If you have any lower ceiling, it's actually going to depress on you over an extended period of time. If you're going to sit there only for 1 or 2 hours, it's not a huge issue. But if you're seated under there for 3 or more hours, or especially if you're lying down on the bed, if you have a ceiling fan or a lower ceiling directly above of you, over a period of time, it creates stress and some health issues as well. So the next thing we need to look at is you should not sit facing column like I mentioned earlier, or a corner, so that it will not cause issues from you, either from a backache perspective or when you have a corner directly pointed at your back. Sometimes you get into backstabbing issues with other of your colleagues.